I started finding self-esteem. Once I found that, that's when doors started opening up. I stopped caring about people, that what they thought, being judged. Wow, if I say this, if I started right now, are you gonna make fun of me? I stopped caring about that. And that's when my life started really changing for me, slowly but surely. I saw working out as a way for me to build calluses on my mind. I had to callous over the victim's mentality. I always equated training to mental toughening. It always looked brutal. People waking up early and doing all these things, and it looked horrible. I was like, wow, man, I gotta start doing that. Not to get better, bigger, and stronger, but that is what's gonna build me. That looks uncomfortable. That looks brutal. And getting up early, I don't wanna do that. So I made this long list of things I don't wanna do. And through that, I found myself. You guys are getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, running over here in this golf course. So I started seeing myself very differently than the average human being. I was like, hold on a second. I have something they don't have. And that's when I started to develop these things through working out. It was this great, never-ending work ethic. And through work ethic, I developed self-esteem. I always equated working out to struggle. And I struggled my whole life, but I ran from it. So I started realizing, man, I gotta start facing the struggle, and I gotta be mentally strong for the struggle. So that's why I started coming up with like, I'm training for life. Mentally, I'm training for life. I'm not training for like, I don't care about winning trophies. I don't care about winning anything. All I want to do is go the distance. And I found out on my own pretty much, is that through discipline, through self-discipline, through repetition, through tons of repetition of the same thing that you don't want to do, and that's the key thing. Through repetition of things you don't want to do, you develop mental, like an armor for your mind. Start to armor your mind, because your mind's like, okay, we suffer every day. It's what we do. We do stuff that sucks every day. So then when the suck stuff comes, you're ready for it. And that's how I started coming up. You know, I just started being very uncomfortable. And now it's like just a way of life where it gets hard. And the harder it is, the more you start to push back. And the more you push back, and then it's not right for people to talk about. It's not right for, like, let's say you are fat. I was fat. That's why I talk about it. And it was hard as every fucking day to get up. I know what it feels like when you roll your fat ass out of bed and all you want is some fucking damn cinnamon buns and chocolate milkshake. I know what it is. I know exactly what it is. But I can't want it more than you. And so many people just want it the easy way. I'm sorry, man. It's not. So what they start to do is they build this narrative of it's okay. When the narrative should be, you need to work harder. You need to discipline your mind better. We need to help people more than just saying it's okay. It's okay. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. Even though it's your life, if that's acceptable, that's unacceptable. And there's a lot of people in this world, me included, that if I accepted that, I wouldn't be anywhere. So yeah, a lot of people just start creating a narrative about themselves that make it okay. The ultimate get out of jail free card. And now the world is set up to have so many get out of jail free cards. Everything is okay. And you can't say a motherfucking thing about it. I want you to go there with me. I'm taking you there with me. I'm a storyteller. And the one thing that I really realized was for me to become a tough guy, not someone to be, I saw myself as a very weak man. And for me to be hard and be tough, I had to start going over to that list, that scary list, to start facing that, because I knew over there, I was gonna find a whole new person. Because if I kept on doing the things that made me feel comfortable, I was gonna continue being that same person I always was, the lying, insecure, fearful person living this nice, comfortable life of mine. So I just designed a very uncomfortable world for David Goggins. And in that world, I found a whole new different David Goggins. The biggest problem in this world is other people, not yourself. It's other people in your head. They are puppet mastering you pretty much on your life. We live by the narrative of other people. I stopped caring about people, that what they thought, being judged. Wow, if I say this, if I started right now, are you gonna make fun of me? I stopped caring about that. And that's when my life started really changing for me, slowly but surely. Or situations that have wronged me. Because once you've come to a place where you are really happy with who you are in life, no one f***s with you anymore. Even though they're f***ing with you,
it doesn't
f*** with you. What do you want in your life? We have so much influence coming at us that we are so lost. We don't know what we want to do because we don't spend enough time with ourselves. But I was like, because I kind of was preparing myself for the next part of my journey. I don't like to lay in my too long. And I give myself a couple of minutes to say, okay, we got man to up. We got to get back, like, what's next? And this was like literally a trained skill for me, was I'm always preparing for, like, not being a bitch. Like, a lot of people get to a point, like, for instance, like, if Jennifer can't do something, like, if she can't go for a run or whatever, just like because something's wrong, like some simple shit, it's gonna bother her. I got to a point in my life where I realized this is life. And so I move on past things real quick. So people are like, oh my God, what are you gonna do, David, if you can't run? I'll swim, or I'll go to college, or I'll do something else. This isn't my life. I'm very aware how quick life can take from you, and I've always prepared my mind for the next chapter. And what happened with me was I started this thing called front loading. So when I was young, I used to be a little piece of shit. Oh, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. I can't do that. But the second I got my head out of my ass, and I realized, man, you can achieve a lot of if you get off your ass and you start moving and you start motivating yourself. And I am happy because this is my lifestyle. This is what I want to do. But trying to find your best self, you become unbalanced. And people always talk about this mythical creature called the balance. You want to be balanced. I think balance is a bunch of bullshit. Yes, I really do.
You think for everybody?
Yeah, I think almost for everybody. Everything in my life, so I had to learn this ability that I talked about. My physical gave me the self-discipline, and that literally has carried me over to, I can sit down and study what may take some people an hour to study. I have to sit down for maybe 10 hours to learn the same, and that's very frustrating. So I always talk about running and swimming and all the stuff I did in the military, and pull-up records and powerlifting, all these physical feats. Some of the hardest I do in my life is just learning. But I got that self-discipline from waking up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning to go out in the cold weather, to get my run in, to get my lift in, to get my swim in, to do those things. It totally transfers over to my learning. It's that self-discipline you gain from feeling good about yourself by overcoming yourself on the physical aspect of life. Think about it, man. I talk about in my book, open-mindedness. What separates me from a lot of people is they go into a daunting task, and the task is overwhelming. Like when I heard the pull-up record was 4,020 pull-ups, and I was talking about breaking this record, people are like, oh my God. I went right to a pen and paper. They go, what are you doing? I'm doing the math, man. What are you talking about? I'm open-minded to the fact that, okay, if I do 5 pull-ups in a minute for so many hours, I can get so many pull-ups in. How much time do I have to rest? I was breaking the math down. You have to be open-minded to the possibilities that I can do this. Once you shut your mind down to the possibility that it can be achieved, there's no way it can happen. So that's why my eyes and my body light up about things, because I know that if you're in a fight, you have to attack. You have to keep attacking. The enemy has to know he is not going to give up. You must break the soul of whatever is in front of you. That's what I realized. I was never breaking the soul of anything in front of me. So that's why I came up with the thing called Taking Souls in my book. I don't follow people who talk about what they used to do in life. I don't give what you used to do. I don't care that, you used to be the best mother. I don't care. What are you doing today? You may not be that person now, but what are you still doing to try to excel in life? And a lot of people now are talking. I hear so much talk. I don't hear a lot of work. I hear a lot of people telling you what you should be doing, how you should be doing it, how you should be living. And I look at them and you're fat, you're out of shape, you look like but you're telling them how to live. No, man, I won't listen to you. There's so many people speaking this And that's what bothered me a lot in the military. There's a lot of people talking shit. I don't see the real suffering behind it, behind what you're saying. That's why I said, man, you talk with so much passion because it's a real place. It sucks to get up in the morning time. It was raining like cats and dogs. I want to get my shoes on and go run. But guess what? I got my shit on and ran. If you want to be great, you want to be the best mother ever at what you do, you're going to be misunderstood by everybody because you're going to be so obsessed and so driven to get there. That's what it takes. It takes every second of your life. Anybody says balance? Yeah, balance is important for a lot of people. It is. But if you want to go to that edge where people do not like you, don't understand you, question everything you do, you've arrived. It's unreal how much time you waste during the day. And most of it is on these computers, phones, Instagramming back and forth, whatever the heck you call it nowadays, tweeting and texting and shit. We waste so much time on our little gadgets. It's unreal. And we talk about we have no time. Write down this one day. Everything you do, write that down. And you're like, my God, I am wasting so much time on frivolous bullshit. Not even funny. If it doesn't infuriate you, it should. Because there's so much time. I can't get it in. Look at your schedule. You just wasted 7 hours today on bullshit. And you don't have an hour a day to try to get something in for yourself. I guarantee everybody can find an hour. I don't care what you believe in. Doesn't matter. I'm not judging anybody. Let's say my thing is God. You get to heaven, I'm 300 pounds, I sit down, and we're sitting down just like this. You're God and I'm David. And he gives me that chart, and he says, look at this. Now look at this chart, and on the chart it has all these different things, but my name's on it. But these things aren't me. I was going to change the world. I was going to set records. I was going to be a Navy SEAL. I was going to be honored here, honored there. And I'm like, God, this isn't me. Like it says David Goggins, it says all these things. And God goes, no, that's who you were supposed to be. My biggest fear in life is that there is a final resting place in this world and you talk to something much bigger than you. I don't want to sit down and have a conversation with someone that says, you're in heaven. This is what you should have been on earth. Well, your first thing, like you're fighting, we all have two people. We all have two people. And I'm not saying you're crazy. We have the easy voice, which is that 20% telling yourself that I'm easy at 90% of my full potential, maybe 100% at that 20%. That's that voice that we all love. That's that very comfortable voice that's that mommy holding you saying it's going to be okay. Doesn't care how good you are, just loves you. Just loves you no matter how messed up you are in life. That's where you want to be at. So that's that one voice. This other voice that we walk very far away from is a voice saying, hey man, you ain't doing shit. So we try to get this voice out of our head completely. And we live over here in this land. So what you have to do first is turn up this voice over here. The voice saying things to you that aren't nice. That it's in our head saying, you know what, man, dude, you're not doing shit. They see me now as the guy that with his shirt off who can do 4,030 pull-ups in 17 hours, who can run 205 miles in 39 hours, who can do all this crazy. But what they don't understand is they don't understand the journey that it took me to get to this point. You can't read somebody else's book about some theory on how to do shit. Some guy who sat up in a nice warm office and wrote some book with a nice cup of coffee in the fucking hand. No, I want to see that guy who immersed himself in fucking hell. We all want to read about how we can quickly get somewhere. That's why there's 6-minute abs and all sorts of powerful. You may get some results from it, but they're not permanent. You have to suffer. You have to make that a tattoo on your brain. So when that hard time comes again, you don't forget it. But I don't respect a lot of people. Because how am I going to respect you, anybody, if you're not grinding every day? And I don't mean working out, getting to the gym. Really going out there and grinding. So if you don't know how I'm living my life, how am I going to respect you? So you have to be a hard worker, period, dot. You got to work your ass off. That's where I gain respect for you. So if you're working hard every day, now you have an opinion in my eyes. But if you're just a guy who talk shit and you live this life of talking shit, come on, dude. I understand one thing. You're just talking shit. But if I see you every day of your life trying to be better, every day, going through all the wickets to be better, you got my attention. I respect you. People have talent, and this is going beyond your talent. When there's no more talent, what happens to you? Most people quit. People only go to their talent level. And once their talent level is gone, it becomes a mental game. That the whole mental game sets in there. And most people can only perform to their talent. And they realize, man, why am I always messing up right here? It's because you're performing to your talent. And then after that, your mind has nothing for you. I see fighters, I see runners, I see people who they're great, but they get to the edge of their talent. It's like, man, what's up? Because you're now at the point now where your talent ain't gonna do shit for you, my friend. Now it's the mental game. And that's where people get lost in life, get lost in that next level. And that next level is found for me in the things that I do. I always fix the things on the surface. If I couldn't read and write, I learned to read and write. I would always fix these things on the surface level. And so whenever something hard would like raise its ugly head, I didn't have any kind of tools to handle it. I'm like, man, I thought I fixed this already, man. But no, I didn't go deep into the dungeon of my soul to say, okay, what is making you a quitter? What is making you a weak man? What is making you afraid? That's why I kept on quitting and going back to start, or not knowing how to get through hard times. And that's why I always tell people, I'm not a theorist. I didn't study, I didn't study a book. I literally put myself in a fire repeatedly like a sword. You put a sword in the fire repeatedly and repeatedly. If you keep on doing that, you're gonna get a nice sword. And then you keep on beating it. You gotta beat the shit out of it. And that's what I am. Yeah. I became that. I said, okay, we can't quit. We got to figure out what is wrong with you. What's going on here? So I kept on putting the sword back in the daggone fire, and I just beat it harder. And I beat it harder. Before I knew it, I started realizing, all right, man, the brain is starting to get hard. The brain is starting to get hard. My reading, my learning, my workouts, my diet. You start neglecting all of that. You neglect one of them, you can neglect all of them a long time. It's going to haunt you. When you start seeing that, my God, I haven't eaten right in a long time, haven't been sleeping right in a long time, it can only be one of those things to take you off. I'm very aware of my eating, my sleeping, my disciplines of life. And when I started to get too far away from them, it's a hard stop. And the only thing that gets me mad nowadays is that so many people die with untapped potential because they think that someone else is better than them. And they were born not with the greatest tools. You need the ability to grind your ass into a fine powder. And when you're in that fine powder, find a way to build that back up repeatedly. And it's possible. When you come from a small town, and you come from a place that a lot of people don't want to come out of it and get out of it, and all you want to do is become somebody, you've got to be able to get out and let your mind see open-mindedness. Because a small town, what it does to you is it closes your mind, completely closes your mind. Not everybody. This isn't everybody, a lot of people. You have to be able to go out there and create open-mindedness. You need space. You need space to see the world. Like a lot of racism, a lot of ignorance in the world, it comes from people not being out and seeing other things, seeing other people. That's why we judge so harshly, because our minds are so closed to the reality of life, period. And I know how to self-motivate. A lot of them don't know how to self-motivate, man. Like, we like to put the headphones on, like before the big game, and listen to the music. What did you do when the headphones come off, bro? It's you in your own mind. I know how to do that. That's the hard part, man.
Do you ever listen to music when you run?
Never. I'm afraid of this. I'm up here. Life made me this way here. I stutter. I have these issues with reading and writing, and I'm fat and I'm insecure. We can't live like this. We can't live in fear. We can't live in judgment. We can't be afraid of what people right now are looking at me saying about me. We cannot be afraid of that. When that alarm clock goes off at 4 or 5 in the morning, your mind says no. You just say, it's just what we do. is what we do now. Because to get to where you want to go, the amount of pain involved, I'm not saying physical, I'm not saying you got to break yourself off. The amount of mental pain of how many times you're going to have to do something that you don't want to do. We all want to read about how we can quickly get somewhere. That's why the 6-minute abs and also are so powerful. You may get some results from it, but they're not permanent. The permanent result comes from you. You have to suffer. You know, a lot of people have like teammates and like family push. My mom was struggling, bro. She was struggling. So it was like me and my mom. And so it was a lot of just me. So when you're waking up every morning by yourself, getting after it by yourself, and it's the hidden work. People see a 1 minute, video of me running and these fighters, they see during the fight or after the fight. They don't see what they deal with every day. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. Because every day, even though they're the best in the world, that little mother 7 or 8 years old is still in there saying, "Oh man, you don't have something. Man, we're not good enough. You shouldn't be here." So you're always fighting that motherfucker. Even though you beat it, you never truly beat it. And you get up earlier and all these things you do to start forming yourself. You're alone. You're alone. You may have a shrink you're going to. You may have a best friend you're going to. But there's 24 hours in the day where you're alone in this brain. And your brain is talking to you in all kinds of ways. And it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, I have this haunting voice in the back of my head. A lot of us have it. We just ignore it. And it was there for years. So I knew in the back of my mind that I could pull off this whatever I wanted. I knew I could. I knew that, but I was afraid of the work because I wasn't gifted with brains. I wasn't gifted with God-given talent as far as like athleticism. So I knew to get to where I had to go, to be on the same playing field as these men, to even try out for this program, I knew the work was going to be something that I didn't want to even attack. So I would just put it off. It haunted me. That's what I realized for myself was I wanted that comfort zone that everybody looks for, that pat on the back. They don't want to hear all the bad. They want to hear everything that they're doing right. And I realized that's what kept me in this world. That's what kept me in this world of not accomplishing anything. What I did was I became that big, bad, nasty that you don't want to walk into at nighttime. I became the roughest critic in the world on myself. And that's what changed me. I literally saw myself in the mirror. I saw the truth versus saying, my dad did this to me from beating me. My life did this to me. My broken foundation did this to me. I took that and said, you know what? Well, some people may help this happen, but now I have to own this. When you quit, your mind does this. Once you say, I'm not going to quit, this is the 40%. When you quit, your mind says, we're done. So it doesn't expand. There's no expansion when you quit. When you say, this sucks, I'm drowning, I'm miserable, I'm suffering, I'm broken, but I'm not going anywhere. What happens to your mind is it does this. It says, he's not leaving. So we got to expand. We got to grow. We got to figure this thing out. So then these compartments in your brain start to work. They have to work. And then you start to engage parts of your mind that you never engaged before. But you can't engage it by sitting back in these nice chairs, drinking this nice water, talking to you, talking about what I want to do. So that's where the 40% thing comes in. It comes in when you're in suffer mode and you say, I'm not going to quit. You're forcing your brain now to operate on a level it's not used to, but then it becomes used to it. In times of need, even the hardest person forgets how badass they are. So I've been through a lot of my life. When you're going through a hard time right now, you forget all the hard time you endured. So the cookie jar is a reminder that, I can get through this hard time right now, but you gotta take a second or two to reach into the mental cookie jar. you got to open up and say, okay, man, I was in 3 hell weeks and I got through 2 of them. You know, I was in Ranger School. I saw these beatings. My mom's soon-to-be husband got murdered. I saw a little kid's head get ran over. All these things I endured alone. I have to remind myself of the strength and the power that I have, that it's in me. It's just a reminder of how badass you are in hard times, because, you know, we just forget that bad time consumes our mind and we forget who we are. Your brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. Once you put away your phones and your computers and all that we have nowadays, that's great. We're up to date, but your brain is the only thing you have when you're going through depression, hard times, and you're going through death. Real life, you can't Google that, man. You're alone. You may have a best friend you're going to, but there's 24 hours in a day when you're alone in this brain. It's those times when even the hardest motherfuckers in the world are looking around for guidance. It's that one motherfucker. Be that one motherfucker when even you're saying to yourself, boy, this sucks. I don't want to be here right now. Be that guy who finds the courage and say, you know what, man? Let's do this. Even me right now to talk to you, I'm in the car for an hour getting pumped up because I'm a shy, introverted, leave me alone type of guy. I'm still that motherfucker who is 6 years old, you know, at a play, who can't say his line because I know I'm going to stutter in front of 5 people. So I walk off the stage. That's still me. People think, oh my God, man, you're on a podcast. You look so crazy, so evil. No, I'm trying to be locked into Joe. So my mind isn't veer off saying, let's run out the damn door because people are watching me on the podcast. I want to open the damn door and get the hell out of here, man. So that's the real me. I did 101 miles in 18 hours and 56 minutes. It's the worst pain I could ever be in my life. I sat in that tub. She called my mom up. My mom was dating a doctor at the time. The doctor said, you need to get him to a hospital now. So she said, I'm taking to the doctor. I said, no, let me sit here and enjoy this pain. I never thought it was humanly possible to do what I did. I went 70 miles. And at 70 miles, I was dead. I was at 100%, what I thought was 100%. I went 31 more miles after being in the worst physical shape I've ever been in my life. It was the most amazing moment of my entire life. I had 2 heart surgeries also. So I had a hole in it. You're not supposed to have a hole in your heart and be a SEAL. So the hole was significantly large.
Like how big?
They say it was as big as a quarter. I'm like, how the hell is it as big as a quarter? Yeah, that's a pretty big hole in your heart.
It's just amazing that you were able to do all that with a hole in your heart.
That's what the doctors were saying. What's your biggest fear in life? I don't care if you believe in God or not. I don't care. Let's say you're God. And we have a big long line of people. And I made it to heaven. 75 years old. I'm 300 pounds. I made it to heaven. I worked for Ecolab my entire life, spraying for cockroaches. That's what I did. But I'm dead. I'm in heaven now. And you are judging us all now. And I'm next in line. David Goggins. I see my name. I see all this shit. God goes, hey, read this, man. And I'm reading this list and I'm seeing 182 pounds, Navy SEAL, Ranger School, motivational speaker, changing lives. Okay, man, pull up record, all this shit. And I'm like, that's not me, man. And God looks at me and says, that's who you were supposed to be. Let's say there's 10 people in this room and we're all mediocre, but I'm the best of the mediocre people. I now think I'm great. We surround ourselves around people that make us feel great. They tell us what we want to hear. The second we put ourselves amongst the uncommon people, we don't like that feeling, that challenging feeling of that person who's waking up at 3:30 in the morning and say, hey, push your shit on, we're going for a run. We don't like that challenge. We like that person who says, hey, you know, man, I don't feel good today, man. And they say, oh, it's okay, brother. Take the day off, man. We'll get a pizza and watch the game. We like that. We don't want that motherfuckers like this. Hey, man, no, bro. Get your shit on, man. Stop being a punk. We don't want that in our lives. We don't want that person who's constantly challenging our weaknesses. We want that person who's constantly, you know, making us feel nice and good and secure in ours. That's the mediocrity of life. If you want to be great, you want to be the best motherfucker ever at what you do, you're going to be misunderstood by everybody because you're going to be so obsessed and so driven to get there. That's what it takes. It takes every second of your life. Anybody says balance? Yeah, balance is important for a lot of people. It is. But if you want to go to that edge where people do not like you, don't understand you, question everything you do, you've arrived. Going into combat, going into war, out of the 100 men that go into war, 10 shouldn't even can be there. 80 of them are just targets. 9 do most of the fighting. 1 is a warrior. Get back to work. It's time to get back to work. Stop hearing yourself talk. Don't be on social media too much. Cut out all noise. Get back to the mental lab. because that's where the knowledge came from. These people who hate on people, I've studied them, and I gained a lot of knowledge from them, because I gained a lot of knowledge for myself when I was in that dark place. Back in the day, when I was sometimes getting bullied or in a dark place, how sometimes that would have bothered me, how I would want to clap back. I would want to be on there all day explaining myself to people. And how now I'm in a place now where I can hear it. I can actually know where it's coming from. So I don't just like listen to it and like make fun of it. I actually study it, because I was once that negative person. I was once that person who saw someone successful and didn't see how can I get there. I was like, oh, yeah, they're probably cheating, or they're probably doing this. I was that negative person because I wasn't there, and I didn't want to work to get there.
It's almost like reflecting an older version of you back to yourself.
100%. Lifting weights, people don't get it, man. It's not like lifting weights. It's like, we go and do like so many reps. Like people go, oh, you're only doing, was like 90 some pounds on the incline. Motherfucker, do 5 sets of 25 with a superset of push-ups, superset of curls, superset of pull-ups, superset of triceps, superset of, what else was it? I forget what else. It's a superset, man. So we're going through lifting lightweight, but for massive, massive amounts of reps. And so you're like totally swollen. And like, it's just some of the best workouts in the world between me and him. The biggest question I get is, so when do you rest? When do you recover?
Yeah.
And I don't want to scare people, but the truth answer is, I don't take any days off.
No days.
No days.
7 days a week.
7 days a week.
Well, what is a normal day?
Normal day for me, a normal day. So let's say a light day.
Light day.
Light day is at least a 7-mile run. I will every other day, so about 4 days a week, calisthenics plus gym workout. So I don't do any gym workout without hitting pull-ups, push-ups. I call it nickels and dimes. So like 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, or I'll go, quarters and whatever, like it's like 25 pull-ups or in like 50 push-ups. So I have all these different things I messed up. So I will do weights with calisthenics, and every single night I stretch. That's what's disappointing for me, for other people. It's not that I want to live there. I know I can go there. And once again, I know other people can go there. So I guess that's the thing with me, is I know I have the ability now to go to a place that's very, very hyper-focused, that I can accomplish some pretty amazing feats. Not because I'm amazing, because I allowed my mind to be open-minded for the possibilities of what can I achieve. It takes the growth in your mental aspect, in your spiritual, everything grows because you start feeling better about yourself. Not many things on the planet make you feel good about yourself like getting after it, doing something that challenges you mentally and physically every day. You cannot live in that normal mindset. You must be your best on your worst day. And how you do that is you cannot think of a normal mindset. Cannot have a normal mindset. My big takeaway of life is, if you're constantly taking the easy way out, you're never gonna callous your mind. I was a chameleon living in life who could barely get by. So I know that they were taking the normal mindset of people. They weren't talking about the 1%ers, the people who want it like there's no tomorrow.